Have to find ways to shout and to get other people's attention. So see the strategy the number of people have adopted regarding Sri Lanka. You can't publish anything in Sri Lanka.
The Asian Human Rights Commission has conducted its 14th folk school in Hong Kong. A total of 14 human rights defenders from across the region joined the program, and they shared incidents of human rights violations from across the region. The AHRC Folk School has a long history of bringing human rights defenders to visit Hong Kong and join the program since it was created in the early 90s. The participants were given opportunities to strengthen their network while expressing their ideas and experiences in the human rights field. Hong Kong remains a safe place for peaceful engagement and open discussion on human rights compared to other countries in Asia.
The reason for starting the folk school was we wanted to change the nature of human rights education. We wanted the participants to discuss their own problems they face, and then to discuss human rights principles in relation to problems. Now that idea came from the Danish folk school movement, where the peasants who were facing problems were brought together and given time to discuss things among themselves. And by discussing things among themselves, they improved their own capacity to understand problems and also to capacity to talk about those problems. So they became quite empowered, quite strong people who knew their own minds.
Folk schools were established in Denmark in 1844. Inspired by the ideas and principles of the Danish philosopher and poet Grundtvig, they originally sought to educate Danish peasants and farmers who were excluded from the classical Latin education system in the 19th century. Such schools merely prepared the elite for predetermined privileged positions in society. It was this which caused Grundtvig to acknowledge widening gap between life and learning within Denmark's educational system.
AHRC Folk School meeting, as compared to other human rights education programs, is that we get these participants who are coming from many Asian countries to discuss what are the problems they are facing relating to human rights. For example, some countries there are extrajudicial killings. Some countries there's a lot of torture. Some countries there are problems relating to freedom of expression. Some countries don't allow people to organize themselves. Now these are the problems they carry in their minds. So we give them space to discuss these problems.
The folk school good for the learnings for the human rights activists, and in this folk school I have three opinions about this. The first, the folk school good for the aids to knowledge from the human rights activists in the each country, and all the participants from each country give the experience about the theory about the fair trial, the theory about the international law.
The 14th Folk School was opportunity for people from the country's partnership networks to come to Hong Kong and share with us the experiences that they have while working on human rights issues, and also for them to learn a few things the way that we do advanced human rights lobbying. Some of the issues that we discussed was about fair trial, because at the end of the day, when you're dealing with human rights abuses, what we are dealing with is on the issue of fair trial, the basics of what it means by fair trial, and the denial of the opportunity for fair trial in the jurisdiction. How does it matter for people and human rights defenders as well as victims in particular, how it affects the justice process, which at the end of the day is deeply connected to the concept of human rights.
So on the one hand, there is capacity building, improved capacity of people. Secondly, there is improvement of articulation of problems and also preoccupation with the local situations, so that these are not mere parrots. They are not just repeating this is what in the UN convention or something like that.
Another portion was also concerning how to use the UN mechanisms, because at the end of the day, when you work quite a lot at the local level, you may also want to get the matter sent across to international organizations like the United Nations. So what are the rapporteurs, what are the special procedure mechanisms, how do you collaborate with the UPR process, how do you analyze a country's human rights situation, issues like that.
And in this folk school I learned about the HR perspective, the UN mechanism, urgent appeals program, and better use of IT in the field of human rights protection. Ultimately, the folk school experience is very good for me, and it gives a lot of energy to stand up in the battle of human rights protection field.
The other couple of topics that we discussed was how to do advanced human rights lobbying using communication technologies, advanced communication technologies, how cost effective it is. To do an interview like this, how to use video technologies and how to get the statement out. How do you do documentation, always keeping in mind why you are doing this documentation, what is the purpose of this documentation. So it's an advanced training on human rights work at the grassroots level.
I think folk school is very effective for the participant, as we have learned a lot of things from the sessions, and I found urgent appeal program is very much effective because it is worked as a microphone for the human rights defenders in front of a victim's testimony, because they can reach the testimonies in the international arena.
The country desk officers who are stationed here in Hong Kong are more engaged with partners at the local level as opposed to the previous years, for the simple reason that they have spent enough time and they have managed to, or we have managed to understand the nature and the turf in which we are operating, which simply means that we have much more possibility for identifying the most ideal people to come and benefit from a meeting like this. That is one aspect. So that is very closely related to the development of Asian Human Rights Commission itself as an organization. The other aspect is simply because that the people who participated were some of the best in their countries, and they are not the award-winning, most popularly known human rights defenders, but these are people who have worked very hard and who know what the area in which they work, the issue in which they work very deeply, and are exceptionally passionate about the issues that they are working on. So we had real fighters, real grassroots level activists.
There were many sessions during the program teaching about human rights, UN mechanisms, the Right to Food program, and information communication technology. All of the participants also spent a day at the Independent Commission Against Corruption in Hong Kong to experience how this mechanism functions.
And also we had a session on trauma counseling, because psychological trauma is an issue which actually matters not only just to the victim but also to people who assist the victim.
And after the folk school, the session about the psychology, all the participants give the new experience about the psychology. How if we want to do interview to the victim with a good situation.
The next Asian Human Rights Commission folk school would be on trauma counseling. It will be a complete session of 7 days, where professional psychologists who have worked extensively with victim survivors as well as human rights defenders in Asian countries would be training human rights defenders and psychologists who come from the Asian countries on how to deal with trauma, how to engage with people, how to engage with victim survivors who are suffering from deep psychological trauma, how not to get burnt out in the process.
According to a famous civic activist, tell me and I forget, teach me and I remember, involve me and I learn. So, AHRC is providing that platform in the form of the Focus School. Focus School is a place where participants from different countries participate and involve in different kinds of discussions about human rights violation and torture and different other things. And they learn from each other different ideas how to deal with these type of violation of human rights and torture.
The achievements are almost all of our participants, once they have gone back, have remained very much engaged in human rights work. We have very many people who are today extremely active people, leaders in their own rights. Some of them are leading big organizations. Some of them are developing very innovative programs. Some of them are developing good publications. All of them in some way or the other remain quite active, trying to promote human rights and trying to resolve the problems of rule of law in their own countries.